Very good evening, everyone. We are delighted to have you here, and we hope this session brings value to your career. We have some amazing insights and engaging Q&A at the end. So be ready with all the questions you have, and we'll try to pick them all in the Q&A. So before we start the agenda, for the people who have joined the session for the first time, I would like to introduce you guys to our Remote Revolution series. So at Uplers, our mission is to make hiring and getting hired reliable, simple, and fast. And therefore, Remote Revolution is an initiative wherein we invite speakers from top-notch companies like Twilio, GitLab, Atlassian, BrowerStack, and many more of uh, such kind to share their insights on how these remote companies hire, their process, culture, values, interview tips, and remote readiness traits required by global brands. So, moving on to the session agenda, our honored guest for this session is Jasjeet Singh, Manager of Global Engineering and Scaled Hiring at BrowerStack. He will take us through his personal journey, will share insights into his role, will talk about the unique culture that shapes BrowerStack and his experience working with a remote team. Following that, we'll explore the intricate hiring process at BrowerStack. So next on the agenda, we'll address the critical questions. What skills does it take not only to succeed at BrowerStack, but also to stand out during the selection process at any global brand? So let's welcome Jasjeet. Without any further ado, let's dive into the session. To start with, tell us something about your career, your journey at BrowerStack. Over to you, Jasjeet.
Great. Thank you so much, Divya. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, it's been uh, quite a long time since I've been working. I started working in 2009, and I have close to 14 years of experience into talent acquisition. Started my career at a cusp of a first global recession. At that point of time, I didn't even knew what was recession was. What we saw in the market during the Lehman Brothers crisis in 2008, that is where I stepped into my career. And initial couple of years were really tough to get into that, but I was lucky enough to start my career at IBM. And then fast forward 14 years, I've worked with some of the major global IT companies, especially into the product-based companies, which is like Microsoft and Amazon. And then I've worked for some amount of time in a hedge fund industry, which was with my previous company. And in during COVID time frame, I've joined BrowerStack. So it has been a great journey so far, right from a recruitment coordinator to talent sourcer to becoming and leading teams and currently managing hiring for multiple division across multiple locations. So yeah, it has been a great journey so far.
Yeah, awesome. Just like from the start of your career in recruitment delivery to manager, it's like really great. You have indeed come a long way, inspiring. So, yeah, moving on. As you can see, in a span of just 2 years at BrowerStack, you have really grown. Could you provide us with some insights about BrowerStack? Like, it would be great to hear more about the company, its functions, and its overall profile. While information is accessible on the company website, getting details firsthand from you is valuable, especially for those who are considering to apply in your company.
Sure, Divya. So basically, if I can just explain it, I believe everything is written on the slide as well. But BrowserStack is a B2B testing infrastructure provider, if I can simply put it in a very simple language, which means um, as a developer, if you're working on any kind of a web product or any kind of a mobile product, you will have users who are using multiple version of an operating system. You will have users who will use different mobile phone while using your any application. So to give you a very simple example, if a company like Uber, who is developing a new feature in his app, Uber will have users from iPhone, it will have users from Samsung, it will have users all across the globe multiple devices of different screen sizes on different screen resolution. And as a developer at Uber, if you are shipping any kind of a new feature, you want to make sure that the experience of that feature on that app is equal for all the user. And that is where we comes into the place. We make sure that companies test their product in all different versions of mobile devices, all different versions of operating system, and the user get the seamless same experience. You would have seen multiple times in any website that the button is prepared in such a way that the button is already coming across the size of the screen. So we help company to ensure that those experiences are not there, because research suggests that if you give a bad customer experience on your website, you have 80% chance that you will lose the customer. So we help company in making them their product a best quality product and make them ship their product faster. So how do we do it is a second part of it. So we have massive data centers all across the globe. We have 21 data centers all across the globe where we manage 21,000 devices simultaneously, so that user can, or any company can use the power of this data centers to test their product. Otherwise, companies will have to set up testing lab at their own premises. They will have to maintain those testing labs in their own premises, and then they may or may not have those capabilities to get it updated. And this is where we come into the picture. We give them an AWS solution where they can go ahead, they can use the power of data center for all their testing needs. So some of the things which we have mentioned is like almost we have close to 72 billion Selenium commands is what we are processing every year. We help close to 25 billion developers to create the mobile devices which will be used by more than 5 billion internet users. So this is the kind of a work we do. BrowerStack has close to 50,000 customers across 135 countries. And we have five products. We have three products catering to the web's products. We have two products catering to the mobile devices. So this is the scale at which we operate with.
Okay, okay. That's great. So, amazing palette of expertise as a company. So, how did the browser stack as an organization incubated or started?
So I would like to take this into class, like how exactly we have grown. If I can give you a little bit a glance, how exactly we have grown. So BrowserStack basically was founded by our co-founders who are still with us. Our co-founders are from IIT Mumbai, 2006 pass out. Um, they started this company, and this was their second or third venture. They were college roommates, and then they became colleagues, and then they started the companies and became co-founders. So basically, BrowserStack was launched as a cross browser 11 out of a coffee shop where they will help the user to test their product faster on all the web browsers which were available at that point in time. Fast forward, if you see 21 years, I'll not go through or read through the slides. We have started adding customers. Looking at the success of the product, within 1 year, we started catering to more than 1,000 customers. We launched our global device solution in 2015. Then we did study how the market will gonna move from web to mobile. In 2017, we started building our products for mobile devices. We went from 2011 to 2017 completely bootstrap. We raised our Series A funding from SL. Then we did our first acquisition in 2020. And then in 2021, we raised another round of funding at a $4 billion evaluation. In a fast forward 12 years, we have four global office location, and currently we have more than 1,000 employees. So this has been the growth and the scale of an organization of BrowerStack.
That's really great. Also, I think you have added some kind of awards and things that you guys have received. So if you
That
could
is
talk
correct.
about that.
So if you see, given that we do not have, at least in our space, no major competition, we have won various award, but I just wanted to share in what exactly we have done in last 4 years or 5 years time frame. We had been featured as LinkedIn top India startup in 2018. We have been ranked Forbes 100 cloud companies in 2021. This is for the second time. First was in 2018, one more again. We had been awarded as the best place to work in 2020, 2021. And recently in 2023, I don't know if you have heard, but SaaS Mumi is one of the biggest publication which tracks the progress of SaaS companies in India. We had been named as a SaaS Startup of the Year by SaaS Mumi in 2022. So these are some of the various awards which we have won in last 3 4 years.
Like it's really great. These awards reflect your hard work and browser stack. Amazing, seriously. So, having gained a good understanding of browser stacks, functions, and accomplishments, could you shed some light on the company's culture? Like, we recognize that culture significantly influences a company's identity and success, shaping how employees engage, collaborate, and innovate. I'm sure our audience is keen to discover the distinctive culture that leads to browser stacks achievement.
Sure. So, Divya, you rightly called out that culture and values for an organization is very important because it determines the entire behavior for an organization. And this is something which has been critical to us, and our co-founder vision has been the same. And even when we got our first success back in 2020, 2012, 2013, we started building out what exactly are the values which really works for us. Because not every organization is the same. Not everyone who's trying at a top line or as a bottom line, every company wants to make profit. But there are some things which are slightly very unique to us, and that is the kind of a culture which we build in. So one of the important culture for a browser stack, and you would see this all over the place, is solving problems which really matters. As in company, as an organization, um, you might have multiple problems to solve. You have identified the problem, great. You know that this problem needs to be solved, great. But prioritizing which problem um, is important, which are not, where you want to allocate your resource, where you don't, has been the key success metrics for us. We definitely spend good amount of time in identifying, in solving real business problem, which will make sense for our customers, for our users, for our employees, or for any target audience which we are. Second thing which we are definitely is being in the business, we are always open to receive feedback. We believe this is the crux of the culture which we want to build in, which will develop on continuous improvement, continuous learning. And I believe uh, the entire organization feels that it will not be possible until unless we are not receptive to feedback. Then we may or may not know whether we want to learn or not. So being open to feedback is extremely important, and this is something which we believe in. Third thing which I would like to talk about is gear up to handle constraints. We know as a part of a business, we are currently living in a world which is very dynamic, multiple change happens very quickly, quarter on quarter, year on year. It's not the same. We are living in a very dynamic and extremely harsh environment. So always, whenever we are hiring, whenever we are making any kind of a solution, whenever we are proposing any kind of solution, we are not, we don't want to look at just a short term solution to the problems. We are looking at the long term solution to the problem. And one thing which, when we start looking at the long term impact for it, we tend to see what kind of a constraint it will come when we are building solutions which will be there for next 30 years. One of the conversation which we always have it with the leadership team is, whenever we are talking about, we are hiring, is is this solution possible for the next 30 years or not? So those kind of a conversations that we are having, and it is very important to see what kind of a constraints it will come. Other thing which I would like to talk about is, and it is something which is hardly ignored industry wide, is keep it simple. Make our communication loud and clear. Remove ambiguity at every point in time, because if the things are ambiguous, your solution may or may not cater to a particular problem. Keep it simple. And definitely, at any crux of the business is delivering the best possible result in the situation you are in. And we track it every, multiple matrices are being tracked by multiple teams right from the day one. Some metrics are tracked on a daily basis, some are on the weekly basis, some are on the monthly basis, some are on the quarterly basis. And yes, a delivering result is a part of the business. And which will come to the next point as being data driven. While taking every decision, it's all about data, data, data. Unfortunately, data comes in noise. We will have to work towards crunching it. Because until unless we will not remove the noise, the kind of the inferences which will build, it may not solve the right result. And it also aligns with other problem things which we matter the most is solving problem which really matters. Data can guide you to multiple other parameters and it becomes more confusing. So removing the noise to a data so that data becomes simpler to crunch and get logical analytical decisions. Other thing which we definitely look for every person is hustle. Do they have that never say die attitude? Hustle till the time you don't get the required result. If a person or anyone can be left in chaotic situation, can a person steer his way through all the chaos, through all the noise? That determines how much strong head and the focus and determination a person has. And the last thing is integrity and honesty, accepting failures, and being honest, being in. These are some of the points which we believe very strongly in. And it comes in almost every single conversation, not only at the time of hiring. Even when we are solving some kind of a problem with the customers, even if we are having simple conversation, the entire meeting will start about, okay, which why we are solving the problem. Does this really matter? If yes, what the data suggests, how did we arrive that this is the actual problem? So this is our bread and butter, and this is how we deal every aspect of our business.
Truly, truly, yeah. We're totally aligned with it because we as an organization also follow some kind of similar values like integrity is as our core value as we believe in absolute transparency. So yeah, absolutely aligned. Awesome. So I'm sure everyone here is curious about the interview process at BrowerStack. So could you share more details about what candidates can expect in terms of stages, key focus area, or any unique aspects that make it stand out? So in this slide is a process like for the audience. In this slide, we have the process which Jasjeet will deep dive into, and it's really amazing. So if you guys want to take notes of it, you can definitely take it. And those who has like raised their hands, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box. We'll pick it in the end. Yes, over.
Thanks, Divya. So, at BrowerStack, we have a very, um, I'll not say very complex process. It might look slightly complex in the slide, but in general, for every interview, whether we are interviewing a simple software engineer or a sales rep or even a senior director of engineering, we in general have 4 to 5 rounds of interviews. And the initial process is that there will be an application which will come to our portal. Based on the SLA, we review the profile. And if the profile is shortlisted for the first round of discussion, the recruiter screening call happens. Recruiter screening call is more on the alignment and the fitment, just to see whether the person's career aspirations match what we want to do. If it is a yes, then we generally have a first screening round. First screening round also works as a conversation where not only we evaluate the person whom we want to take it ahead, but also give opportunity to candidate to evaluate us if this is the right job or is this the right opportunity for them. So this conversation is more of a initial expectation setting conversation. Once a person is through, and if they also want to continue with their process, we give them a case study or a live assignment. So I'll tell you what exactly are case study and the live assignment. So case studies is generally what we do in campus, where we based on the time, because we have a crunched timeline to complete an interview process for a particular people. So we give them any kind of a live case study or a coding solution, which they will have to do, whether by a hacker rank test or whether by an interview. For lateral hires, we give them a live assignment where not only we are interested in the solution, whether you are doing the solution right or not, but we wanted to understand your entire thought process. That is the reason this live assignment, some of these live assignment goes up to 3.5 hours as well. And one interviewer will always be there with you throughout the duration of that 3.5 hours. They are not only interested in the solution which you are providing, whether the solution is correct or not. No, that is not. We also wanted to understand what exactly you are thinking while reaching out to the right solution. What exactly is your thought process? And you might get a notification, or you might get interviewer asking, okay, tell me what exactly you're thinking right now. What exactly is running in your mind? Because we are, yes, solution will come to it once you are at a right approach, but how you are selecting that right approach, what decisions you are making, what parameters you are thinking, because that help us evaluate your problem solving skills, because we are a problem solving company. Once that is done, which is one of the major uh, round, given the fact that it's for a 3.5 hours. Plus, also we have seen majority data suggests that majority of selections or rejections happen around this round. Then at the last stage we have competencies round, because some of the roles require special competencies. If we are interviewing a manager, if you are interviewing a person in an individual contributor capacity, so that will be our competencies round. Generally those are taken by a senior member in the leadership team. If that is done, then we will move forward with the offer offer and other details. So this is how, in general, for any roles at BrowerStack, the interview process will look like.
Okay. So, are there any sources which people can refer while preparing for interviews or things at BrowserStack?
Sure. Given the fact that I am coming from an engineering and scale hiring perspective, so I can give you something which is very related to that. So there are some websites which I felt they are really good. Couple of them so I've mentioned it here, like Geeks for Geeks, Codility, Lead Code, Hacker Rank. They have good database of the problems. Um, and lots of people even share their interviewing experience with us. And these are really helpful. We definitely go through it to see what kind of feedback which we are receiving. In addition to these websites which I've mentioned, there are a couple of more like Ambition Box, Glassdoor, which overall talks about people experience. But if we really want to use some of the websites for preparation, if we want to look for a good set of problems so that you are very well prepared, these are the some of the websites engineering graduate can use it.
Mm. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So, we'll share all these links after the session for the people who want these links. So, yeah, moving to the next slide. Here are some job opportunities which we currently have at BrowserStack website. So any one of you who see that these job roles align with them can definitely visit the website. And just yeah, if you want to share something around these roles.
Sure. So our websites are up to date. So any roles which gets approved and open up, it will reflect at BrowserStack Career. So people can just log into BrowserStack Careers, and you will have a set of roles which will be available. One thing important to note is just filter on the location. Um, and you will get all the relevant job based on your location. How exactly some of the very critical crucial role which we are currently hiring are mentioned here: technical lead, lead visual designer, engineering manager, senior software engineer. Um so yep, some of these roles are there.
Okay, perfect. So now let's move to the Q&A. So we have few questions which I'll be asking to you. So there is one question in the chat box. Are these jobs applicable for developers outside India?
Yes, they are.
Okay, let me pick some more questions. So, as you're working remotely, so just curious, could you share some remote readiness traits that you look at while hiring candidates at BrowserStack? What are the qualities one should possess to successfully collaborate with global teams?
Sure. So, Divya, I would like to answer your question in two different aspects. The first is like what exactly we evaluate when we are working remotely, especially with respect to the remote setup. So, um, any remote work comes with a cost, which is lack of collaboration, because you will not have teams or good amount of teams which will be always there. So one thing which we definitely look in for is, while even interviewing, is is a person a good communicator? When I say a person is a good communicator, I am not talking only about their verbal English speaking skills. I'm basically talking about, are they able to convey their message, to convey their thought process? Are they able to articulate well their thought process? Because while working remote, if there is any kind of a communication barrier, then it becomes very difficult, because we do not have an opportunity while working remote to understand each other. So that is one of the biggest thing which we look in for, is the articulation of the thoughts, the thought process of a person. Is a person is able to communicate what exactly he wants to communicate, or if he is communicating something which he doesn't want to communicate. So that becomes one of the major criteria to do on the hiring. On the second question, where you talk about what are the things which you are looking to, is while making some kind of a decision or while working remotely, is mastering the art of virtual collaboration. You will definitely not get an opportunity to have um, coffee conversations since you are all working remotely. So, what you will do, over communicate, take effort to block some meeting, to know people around you, to know at least people whom you will be working day in and day out. Have random call booked. Over communication is the key. Build those required rapport. If get a chance, there might be a possibility that you people are working remote but are from the same city. Meet them, see if there is a possibility of doing it, even if it is once in a year. Take that extra effort. Build connections. We are a social animal. We are not built to work in a 4 by 4 or 10 by 10 room space and be there. So over communication is key there.
Yes, agreed. So, people often do not come on video cam in Zoom. Is that acceptable in remote work? Should not everyone be on camera in remote companies?
So Divya, you're asking, is if I'm able to understand this clearly, you're asking, is it mandatory to switch on the camera? Uh,
Like, it's just, I'm asking your views on this because mostly, like, if we are working remotely, most of the cases you will see few people are on camera, few are not on camera. So, how does it, how does it should work?
See, again, like I said, at any point of time, we know when we are working remotely, people will face internet issues. They will have, because everyone is at home. You are taking some kind of an important call. Your mother might be cooking something and there will be a pressure cooker whistle. Those are some of the things which you cannot avoid. I think the best key is, take your call, take your decisions. If you are new to an organization, if they don't know you, then yes, keeping camera on till the time you develop that kind of a comfort always helps. If you have been working with them for a good amount of time, if you have built up that kind of communication, you can switch your camera off. If you're anyways having bandwidth issues, even if you are new, even if you are not, joining that meeting is more important than people able to see you. So it's a very subjective, and it's based on what stage of a journey you have developed with them. If you have already built a good rapport with them, then they will understand, even if you don't, or if you never. If you are in a process of building a rapport with them, so please do that. It always helps. Having a face to a voice always helps. But is that mandatory? I don't think so.
Okay, so we have one more question. How do you leverage technology and AI in streamlining and enhancing different stages of the hiring process?
Divya, I think that is a very great question. And whenever I'm in some of the sessions, I keep on getting questions on generative AI, Gen AI, and there are there are multiple ways um, Gen AI will improve some of the things which we do in hiring. Um, Even if you look at, there are multiple solutions which are currently in the market which help us do our job better. So let's say I'll give you a very practical example for it. If we open one job opening and we will start having applications started flowing in, assuming, let us assume if we open one role which is very much available in the market right now, in a single day, if we get 2000 applications, it will be a very difficult task for someone, for a recruiter to screen. Even if they will take 1 minute or 45 seconds to 1 minute to just go through their resume and they decide, okay, whether this profile is good or not. Sometimes it takes more than that. So screening 2000 profile will take more than 3000 minutes and nobody will have time. So what the people will do, either they will just filter out the latest 100 resume and they will spend those 200, and there might be a possibility that you would have gotten a very good application a day or night before. There are multiple solutions in AI who, based on some algorithm, might give a resume score that for this particular job description, this is a score which is being provided by AI. So what recruiters can do is, instead of going through the entire resume one by one, the AI tool will give a resume score, and they can filter on the score and they can select those 100 or 200 people which they want to review and do it. This is one part of it. Second part of it is while interviewing. While interviewing, and I'm pretty sure there are multiple companies who does that right now. So let's say, for example, if I am speaking to you, I'm interviewing you, and as a part of majority of the companies, they will have to write a detailed written feedback for a candidate. So I'm in remote. Um, Remote always comes up with a cost that I may or may not be able to build a very good first impression because of all the communication barriers we may have. And then while I'm interviewing you, I'm also typing, and half of my mind, there are multiple people who use different screens. So I will be like taking interview, but my different screen is there where I'm writing my feedback. And this is how you will be seeing me, where there is no proper eye contact because I need to write the interview feedback, otherwise I will forget. There are multiple AI tools who, whatever we are talking, they will dictate so that the person will not spend that much time in writing or typing the feedback, but will focus on seeing you, interacting with you, so that there is a good solution which we are giving. So there are multiple examples where they will help, the AI will help each and every step of recruitment process, from sourcing a good candidate, multiple ways to help the entire interview experience, interview process, feedback capturing, offer letter generations, deciding for which particular role what is the market trend. There are multiple AI tools which will give us comp recommendations. So AI will have spaces in each and every part of the recruitment process as what they do.
Okay. So yeah, we have another question. So do we need DSA for development work?
So you mean to say, when you say development work, you're talking about the work at BrowerStack, or you're talking about in the
I
interview process?
I think it is about browser stack itself.
Yes, DSA, we do work on DSAs.
Okay.
In the interview process, if that was had been a question, uh, our interview process are not on DS and Algo. Our interview process is a live assignment where we will ask you to write a proper web service, and it will not be actually on the DS and Algo, but on the actual implementation of it. So we might ask a candidate to write a WebSocket.
Okay. So we have another question, which is while on lookout for senior roles, what is your go-to mantra?
Okay, so leadership hiring, if that is the crux of the question. So leadership hiring is slightly tricky. Tricky not in the sense that the talent availability is less. Yes, if you see in the market, and that has been my experience, people may or may not agree with me on this. Um, Talent availability from 0 to 2 years of experience and above 25 years of experience is abundance. So we do not have any issues in finding people. For leadership hiring, it's not more on the skill part of it, it's more on the fitment part of it. It's more on if a person will be able to fit into our culture. So let's say, for example, as an organization or as a co-founder, when they're hiring a leader, a co-founder has developed an organization like it has been its baby, and he has been nurturing it, taking care of it from good amount of time. Bringing someone at a very leadership level, definitely they want to assure that it should not create any kind of a disturbance, which in the entire journey of the team. And while hiring a particular leader, co-founders do understand that what exactly the current problem which they want that leader to solve. So it is not about the person is selected or the person is rejected. It is more about that person can be great, one of the best person in the industry. If you're hiring, let's say, for example, sales representative, he might be one of the best person in this industry, but he may or may not fit into the organization which we have built so far. So he might be the best person in the industry, but not the best person for Browster.
Yes, agreed. So let's take the last question for the day. So what advice would you give to the individuals looking to embark on a journey to solve meaningful problems in their respective domains?
Okay, I would address this question in multiple bracket. When we talk about what problem they should embark in their personal constraints, so a different individual at one point in time are at a different career path. There are few people who are just starting the career. There are few people who are in their 30s. There are few people who are in their 40s. So I believe the people who are still building a career currently, the advice which I would like to give them is bubble up, try multiple things, find your passion, what exactly excites you. If you got something out of a college, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Accept it. Start finding something which you are really passionate about, which you would do even if you're exhausted for the entire day. It can be any single thing. Do that for your initial 4, 5, 6 years and find that one thing which really excites you, which makes you passionate. People who have found that thing spend the next, I will not quote any particular years, I will leave them to an individual call, but find the next at least 5 to 7 years specializing that one thing which you like the most. I hope you would have heard a very famous quote from Bruce Lee is that he's not afraid of a person who can kick in 100 or 1,000 different ways, but he is afraid of a person who can kick just one in a single way. So basically, he has practiced that one particular kick more than 1,000 times in his life. So specialize one thing which excites you. People who are in their 40s, who have seen a phase of generalization where they are finding what is the best one thing to do, and then they have spent a good amount of time in specializing one thing they do. In that particular domain, again find some of the other things which you have not done, because specialization for more than 10 years might make you only dependent towards one skill. What if you specialized on one skill and that skill got eliminated from the market? So generalization, and again specialization. So this is I would advise to different individual at different facet of the career.
Yeah, really great. Thank you so much. I think we have one more question left. So let's take that up, which is which programming language is used in BrowerStack?
We, like I said in my earlier conversation also, that we are focusing on the problem which really matters. We are a technology agnostic company. If Java makes sense to solve that problem, it makes sense to us, it makes sense to our customers, we will go ahead and use it. If Node.js will do it, if C# will do it, we are not at all concerned on a particular programming language. And so does is our interview process. We interview people from C, C++, C#, Java background. But yes, more than 70% of our projects are on Ruby on Rails and Node.js. But we do have good amount of project, close to 30-35% in all other different languages.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much. I think that's it for the day. And we truly value the insights you have shared with us. Thank you for dedicating your time to contribute to the growth of our community. Your efforts are instrumental in enhancing the employability of our tech community and providing better remote opportunities. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was lovely interacting with you, Divya.
Same here. So, for joiners, we have a few next steps. We'll be sharing all the details with you over WhatsApp and social media. Stay connected, and we are excited to organize more such sessions. For future insightful sessions, make sure to register on Uplers. You will find many job roles posted from different companies on the website. Once you join our community, you will get the exclusive access of our Discord channel. Um, and guys, if you have any questions left, you can definitely post it on Discord. We'll send the invitation to Jasjeet as well. He'll join our Discord community, and we'll be sharing the recordings and additional materials through LinkedIn, email, and other social media. So, and also you can join our WhatsApp group for updates for the next sessions. So yes, keep an eye out for the updates, and we look forward to conducting more such sessions. Thank you everyone for joining this session today. We truly appreciate your presence. Thank you.